All right, well, welcome back. After the midterm break, hope everyone had fun working on assignment 3. As you can see by the schedule here, we had no classes last week. That was a nice little break, right? Midterm break essentially just means no lectures. You're still working on projects and assignments and stuff, I'm sure. So, if you were following along with the Discord, there's been some changes to the class that I decided on over the break. So what's going to happen now in the class is, so this is today's class right here. I decided that instead of having, so let me rewind a little bit. There's a bit of a pedagogical purgatory, if I can be alliterative for a moment, that I was stuck in trying to decide how to proceed with this course. Basically, I can do whatever I want with the course, so that's good. But there's always the tug of war between teaching you the most stuff and what I actually think might be useful for you. So what does that mean? Those two things sound kind of the same. So any teacher or professor or whatever will oftentimes struggle with what they want to teach in a course. I think if they're good, they'll struggle with it. Now, when it comes to something like, Math 1000, you need to teach certain things. That's pretty obvious. But when it comes with like an almost elective fourth year course, there's a lot of freedom in how I can proceed with things, right? So one way to do it is to teach as many different topics and many different algorithms and as many different things as I possibly can so you get the widest breadth of knowledge possible. And that will ideally help you in the future more because you know more stuff, right? But there's also the idea of, hey, we could maybe have a little more like fun with the course, and we could start you, say we just finished like the halfway point of the course with midterm break. You can kind of see visually here, we have about half the course left, maybe a little bit less, where instead of teaching you as much stuff as possible, we could drill down into a specific topic so that you could kind of specialize, right? And so each of those have their benefits. Knowing a lot of different stuff at a surface level is good. Drilling really far down into something and becoming not an expert in this course, but like more than just surface knowledge about it is also really good. So of course, none of this matters to you. I'm just explaining my thought process, but to me, it's interesting because it's part of my job is deciding what to teach and what you should learn in a course that you take with me. So what I think that we're going to do is, before I had an idea for assignment 4. Assignment 4 was going to be on decision making. We would have an assignment like we did in the class before, like assignment 1, 2, or 3. But then I realized that, okay, let's look at the timeline here. If I gave out assignment 4 when assignment 3 was due and then gave you 2 weeks to work on it, we would already be more than halfway through March by the time assignment 5 was going to be given out, right? So let's scrap assignment 4, and what I want you to do basically, the work remaining in the course is going to be project work. And so while you're not going to learn as many things as I thought you were going to learn, you're going to be specializing a little bit more in whatever you choose your project to be on. And I think that's good, A, for me, because I don't have to make as many assignments, and those are really difficult to make. B, for you, because you don't have to context switch as much. So like assignment 4, assignment 5, and the project will all be about the project. So you can kind of take your partner for the assignment and just drill down as far as you want to. Okay. Also, I think that having like one big project to show off is really great for your portfolio or for your resume or for your CV or whatever. Being able to show off something in a really good way, or a really good project that you can show off. So I don't know how you feel about that. I had a vote. Actually, I do know how you feel about that. Let me quickly open my Discord over here. So I did a quick poll in the Discord about whether or not I should switch assignment 4 from being a new topic to being project related. And the vote was 21-1. Okay? So don't all pile on the person who voted the other way. It's good to get your dissenting view in there. But yeah, it was pretty well received, I think. And this is definitely how I'm going to be proceeding with the course. Okay, had a question in the chat. That is the best case scenario for me because I love procedural content generation and intend to try and do my honors project in that area. That's great. Awesome. So I do think that specialization is good, and as undergrads, you don't get enough of an opportunity to specialize like that. So here is how the rest of the course is going to go. The thing that you're going to be working on is the project. Okay, so you're going to be working on the project. The things that I'm going to be teaching are still going to be different topics, but they're all going to be related to your project somehow. Now, if you choose Minecraft, I'm going to be struggling to help you a lot with that, okay? So, in StarCraft, so I'll get into the project in a second. Actually, let me save that part until I get into actually describing the project. But yeah, the topics here, basically ignore all of this, okay? Ignore all of that, because this is just a notepad for me at this point. None of this is going to be taught in this order anymore. Besides maybe next week is going to be the StarCraft stuff. Okay. Well, let's just jump into the document I have prepared. So I have this document that I did up, and I'm going to try and make it so that my face doesn't overlap with it too much. But here is the document that I'm working on for the project and what I'll be giving out to you soon. Now, first of all, when is the project due is always a bit contentious, because what I have found, and despite your best efforts, no matter how long I give you for the project, you'll do most of the work in the final week. Okay? Probably 80% of the work. So if I give it to you due, say, on the first day of exams, or before the first day of exams, you'll do all your work in the final week before exams. If I give you more time, right, and make it due like at the end of exams, then some people love that because they get more time and they're not working on this during like the regular term when they have a bunch of other assignments and stuff. But some people hate it because now, while they're doing their exams, they have to stress out about the project as well. Or while they're doing the project, they have to stress out about exams as well. So I don't know how many exams people have. I eliminated the exam from this course just because online exams are a nightmare and it's just so easy to cheat. They're almost useless in my opinion. So I'm not sure when this is due yet. If you have any opinions on that, maybe I'll do another poll on Discord and see how people feel about that. But I want to give you as much time as possible in order to do this. Okay, so the final project for this course is to implement an AI agent for either a StarCraft AI bot or a GDMC project. So what is StarCraft AI? Well, you're going to write a program in C++ that plays StarCraft. For the GDMC project, you are going to, and GDMC stands for the Generative Design in Minecraft Competition. And what that is, and I'll post YouTube videos and stuff that explain what that competition is you are given a chunk of a Minecraft world randomly, and you have to build a settlement that sort of blends in with that world procedurally. Okay, and I'll be showing some examples of that today, actually, during class. So here's the catch. Okay, if you do the StarCraft AI bot, I highly recommend that people who have... So the StarCraft AI bot is Windows only. Now, I say Windows only, but you can easily do it in a virtual machine. It's not very processor intensive. So if you have access to Windows or a virtual machine, or you have no strong reason to want to do the Minecraft project, I highly recommend you to do the StarCraft AI bot. So why might you want to do the StarCraft AI bot? Well, one of the reasons is your professor wrote all the code for that, okay? So not the API stuff, but like I wrote the bot and the code that you will be using for the StarCraft stuff. I'm very familiar with it. I wrote, I spent almost 10 years working on StarCraft AI. So I can help you a lot with that. I will be able to easily, hopefully, answer any question that you have, give you code snippets, or help you along the way with the StarCraft AI bot stuff. The Minecraft project, on the other hand, I will be able to help with it, but the Minecraft AI project is almost more about art than it is science, okay? You're kind of designing something. And the way the GDMC project works, the actual competition, is that there are 4 categories that your project is scored on. And I'll list those a little bit later, but like it's judged by a human. There's no like winner or loser like in StarCraft. So it's a bit of a harder thing to judge, it's a harder thing to mark, and if you think just doing that is going to make your life easier for the project, I think you're mistaken. I think that the StarCraft AI bot, while more programming, will be less thinking. So here's my overall view of both of them. If you have absolutely no access to Windows or a virtual machine, by all means, you kind of have to do the Minecraft project. And there's nothing wrong with that. It will be, I think, a harder project in terms of thinking, maybe not in terms of implementation. The StarCraft bot will probably be more programming, but it will be more obvious what you have to do. Okay, so the goal will be easier, but the implementation will probably be more programming. It's not straightforward how to explain that, but I hope I've done a decent job of that. Like, choosing Minecraft is not a free pass whatsoever. Okay. The next line, and I know I'm only through the first line, the rest of it will go quicker, don't worry. Projects may be completed in groups of up to 2 students. All right, so in the past, my groups in my courses have been up to 4 students. I did that last term for 4,300 for the project, and it was a nightmare. I strongly believe that you should have experience in... Someone asked, is Minecraft Python only? I'll get to all that. Okay, I'll get to the implementation details, don't worry. So I strongly, strongly believe in group work. For the rest of your life, no matter what your job is related to computers, you will be working in groups. And dealing with jerks who don't do their work on time or hard to get along with people is going to be part of life. And part of the reason in which I want you to work together is to get experience with that. It's not to torture you. It's to get experience with that very real problem of working with other people. However, what I noticed during the pandemic is that a lot of people got a lot of stuff going on that makes life not normal, okay? And you had people getting sick, people whose parents or relatives may have gotten sick, they had to drop out, they had to not work, all this kind of stuff. And so what I want to do is I want to bring back the scope of a project a little bit so that it's no longer 4 persons worth of work and make it 2 students. And what this does, an added benefit of this, is that with 2 people on the project, nobody's getting a free ride, right? Like, you can't, in a group of 4, you can kind of hide under the carpet and hope everyone else does all the work for you. But with 2 people, it's really hard to do that. It's really hard to convince someone else to do all the work for you. Okay. And please, if you listen to anything today, listen to the following sentence. If you have any problems with your group members not doing work, not showing up, not responding to you, please contact me before the project is due. Okay? You might laugh at that, but in 4,300, I had 2 groups of 4 people with less than 3 days left before the project was due say, we haven't heard from this person in 2 weeks. Why would you wait that long? Why? It makes me want to cry. It's like, why? Why would you wait until the project is literally due to tell me that one person hasn't been there basically for the last month. Okay, and I know that's kind of a meme at this point, but it'll happen. I'll definitely get someone who says my partner hasn't shown up in 3 weeks, and I didn't email you because I was afraid to. Don't be afraid. You're not ratting anyone out. Just tell me that they haven't been showing up. We'll work it out. If you have been doing the assignments solo, please get a partner for this project. Please. It's going to be a lot of work, okay? I can't stop you from doing it alone, but please get a partner if you've been doing the assignments solo. All right, so that's all I'll say about that, but it's the reasoning why it's up to 2 students. Nobody's getting a free ride on this project. So marking for the project will be done as follows. We're going to have 3 parts to the marking. We're going to have the actual code submission itself, we're going to have a video presentation, and we're going to have a YouTube trailer, all right? And the code is going to be worth half of the project, and the videos are going to be worth the other half of the project. So I really wanted to focus on this and make the videos worth a lot, not because I'm sadistic or anything like that, but because last time I did this, we had live presentations for the project, and they were really, really well done. The presentations were awesome. But what I said was, hey, that would be like really great for your portfolio. Why don't you do the presentation again and record it? And they're like, I don't want to do all that work again. The presentation was stressful enough. So I just want you to record the presentation. And that way, you'll have it if you want to send it to anyone or show off to anyone, okay? So there's going to be 2 videos. One is the main video presentation. So students will make a video presentation about their final project. The presentation should give an overview of what was done in the project, as well as a working live demonstration of the system. You can use screen recording software such as OBS to record your gameplay for the video. An important note here is that I am not judging your ability to edit the video or make sweet transitions or anything like that. They may help, but I'm instead judging on how much that I said I wanted you to cover in the video, all the functionality and the methodology, etc., that you actually got into the project and into the video. The video should be uploaded to YouTube and submitted as a link with the code. So you don't have to make it public. You can leave it as unlisted and then just send me the link. But this is very important. That video is going to be worth 20% of your year, okay? So please put more effort into that than the duration of the video. So I'll have more comments on that a bit later. Also, there's going to be a YouTube trailer. I thought I had the duration of this video. This video has to be at least 15 minutes long and at most 20 minutes long. Okay, so between 15 and 20 minutes. I think I listed that somewhere. 15. I'll look at that later. The YouTube trailer is another video that is a very shortened version that was like, if you had to take this project to get some funding, you would show people that, okay? And that is something that you could have on your website. Like no employer is going to watch a 20-minute video, but they might watch, oops, I didn't mean to do that. They might watch like a 3-minute video, right? So this is also something that I will be hosting on my website, so other people will be able to see the projects that you've made. So this, trust me when I say that it's better than doing a live presentation, probably, because you can fix any mistakes that you make. You can edit out all the times that your program was going to crash during the live presentation. It's nice to be able to edit that sort of thing to sort of put your best foot forward. And B, it's nice to have that sort of thing for your portfolio. So I'm big on presentation and having you be able to show this off to people in the future. And of course, you have your working code. Students will submit their project code along with documentation on how to set up and install the project. Okay, so someone in the chat asked, how can people who are not media inclined help with the video element of the project? So that's a good question. There's not a lot of people who have a lot of experience with screen recording or with editing video. This can be a learning experience, right? You have, March? You have almost a month and a half to do this. So you can download OBS and record some gameplay. If you worked on a specific part of the project, like I'm using OBS right now, you literally just say, I want to record this screen, and you hit record, okay? And then you use any free video editing software to just stitch those things together. It's really not that difficult. You just have to put like an hour or two into learning the software. And when you're making games, you have to be able to show off your game, right? So this is kind of another example of a practical skill that I want you to learn, is how to show off the stuff that you've done. Someone said in 4300 issues where only one person was familiar with OBS and felt bad because they definitely carried that aspect of the project. Yeah, but the other 3 people just didn't try. If you install OBS and try and use it, watch a YouTube video about it, trust me, it takes like an hour to get used to it. Now, you don't need to have like star wipes and fade transitions and all this kind of stuff. Just the ability to install OBS, click, record screen, like it's really easy. It's way easier than the project will be, okay? So it's recording your screen is way easier than any of the programming you'll have to do. So I wouldn't worry about that. Just go try it. If you have absolute problems with getting OBS set up, just message me on Discord. I'll help walk you through it. All right. So here are the project requirements, which is what I want to see by the end of the semester, okay? So for StarCraft, you have to do one of the following, A or B. So if you chose StarCraft, one of the following 2. A, implement a bot from scratch that is able to successfully build a base, make units, and perform a decent attack against the built-in AI. It does not have to be a world champion. If you take all of the code that you wrote for the bot from scratch from an existing bot like StarterBot, then it doesn't count, okay? Since you're just submitting the other bot that you stole all the code from. You must have novel solutions to at least some of the problems. So what this means, what does from scratch mean? Well, I'll get into that in the next class, okay? But you're going to start from essentially a bot that does nothing and write all the stuff yourself. Now, the result of that is going to be a bot that is not a world champion. It doesn't have to win 100% of its games against a built-in AI. It would be nice if it did, but it won't, right? So if you choose A, there's probably more programming, but what you will get is something that you did from scratch, and it doesn't have to perform super, super well. The second option is to take an existing bot, and I highly recommend taking StarterBot, which is the bot that I wrote. It's a fully functional bot, but it doesn't have a lot of like hard-coded strategies in it, for example. So if you're a StarCraft player and you really love, for example, a specific unit, like Terran High Templar that casts Psionic Storm, right? StarterBot currently cannot use spellcasters whatsoever. So what you could do for your project is take StarterBot and modify it so that it now has a strategy that is able to use Protoss High Templars and cast Psionic Storm on the enemy in interesting ways. Okay? So you could also use like late game flying units, like, I don't know, battle cruisers or carriers or something like that. You could like try and cannon rush your opponent or something like that. So the 2 options for StarCraft are build a bot from scratch that is not highly performant, but you wrote all the code for yourself, or take an existing bot and modify it in a very interesting way. Now, it looks like A is going to be easier. Or sorry, it looks like A is going to be harder because you have to do more programming. But B is going to be a lot of time figuring out exactly how StarterBot works so that you can implement the thing that you want to implement inside of the bot. Okay? So A is a lot more programming. B is a lot more dissecting my code. So I recommend A. I think it will be a much more fun project than just making my existing bot do something else. So that's the StarCraft. And for Minecraft, what you have to do is you must implement an AI agent for the GDMC competition. And that is the generative design in Minecraft competition, where you basically build a settlement inside Minecraft. It will be judged on 4 competition criteria. Now, this isn't how I'm going to mark it necessarily, but this is how the competition itself is judged. It's based on adaptability, functionality, narrative, and aesthetics. And I will link YouTube videos where they have sample judging being done and what they mean by all of those terms, etc. But those are the 4 judging criteria that they use for the competition. So you can see how it's a bit subjective. Your project will not be fully marked based on the results of those criteria, but instead on how you tried to implement those criteria. So please be specific in your video about how you tackled each of those problems. Also, I want you to focus on or incorporate at least one technique that was taught in the course. So, if you choose Minecraft, you can't just write a function that, for example, builds a house, right? You can easily write a function that builds a house. You have 2 for loops that build the floor, that build the walls, and builds the ceiling. You stick a couple of chairs in it, I have a house. And then what you could do is you could write another for loop that randomly places those throughout the map. I'm done, yay. No. You have to incorporate something that was done in the course. So, you either have to incorporate pathfinding. So, for example, what a lot of people did last time was when they placed the houses around kind of pseudo-randomly in their village, they built paths from the doorways of houses to other houses, right? And tried to make that look a little bit realistic, like an actual village. So what they did for that, they did like some sort of pathfinding in order to find the shortest path from one doorway to another doorway, and then they placed like dirt on the ground to look like a path. You could also incorporate cellular automata, so trying to generate terrain using that. It can't just be semi-randomly placing houses that you hard-coded, okay? So think about it this way. If you think that how do you know when you've done enough work for the project? So if it takes you less than 15 minutes to verbally describe everything that you've done, then you haven't done enough work. All right? That's that's my way of telling you that like how much work that you've done. Okay. And also something that's important for either project. If you have chosen StarCraft or you have chosen Minecraft, please choose a game AI topic to focus on and specialize for your project. So what I mean for that is, for example, if you chose StarCraft, build a framework for a bot that builds some things, it sends it to attack, it builds a town, it does resource gathering, but focus on one thing. At least one thing. So for example, maybe you choose to implement a really cool kiting behavior for your Terran Marines, where they shoot and back up, shoot and back up, shoot and back up, right? Or you wanted to dynamically generate build orders somehow. Or you had a really cool pathfinding solution for StarCraft maps. So when you do your project, it's not just, kind of get something working. It's kind of get something working and then focus on one area that we talked about in the course. And for the Minecraft one, you can also do the same thing. Like maybe you could focus hardcore on the pathfinding and incorporate that somehow into your village. Or you could focus really hardcore on the terrain generation. Maybe you do something like Perlin noise to generate a cool part of a terrain to make it look like the earth or something. I don't know. Or maybe you have some really cool approach to generating the interiors of a mansion or something like that. Okay? So make sure that when you do your project, you have one real cool specialization that you're able to talk about at length in your video. Because I'm going to be focusing a lot of the marks on that. Okay, we had a question out there. If we choose to code the entire Starcraft bot ourselves, are we allowed to put the source code on GitHub for portfolio purposes? I know you normally don't want us to post assignment code, so I'm curious. That should be okay, because there's a lot of Starcraft bots out there anyway, right? So I have a portfolio of StarCraft code from all the competitions over the years, so we can run diffs and stuff on that. I would say that that's okay to post StarCraft code, but not right away. Okay, not at least until the course is over. Obviously, I don't want you to have that up there while other people are still working on their stuff. So talk to me. I would say, okay, here's my new answer to that question. The answer is no, but talk to me and we'll work on that. Okay. A cellular automata Minecraft mansion would be pretty cool. Yeah. So there's lots of cool things you can do. And I think either project will be great, but I know some people think that Minecraft is going to be easy. I think they will both be the same difficulty. I just think they'll be difficult for different reasons. Okay. Submission. How would you submit the project? You can submit your project as a single zip file on D2L, one submission per group, or you may submit via GitHub by adding Dave Churchill, me, as a collaborator to your private repo. Your submission must include all source code for your project so I can compile and run it. And also, your project should include a compiled executable for StarCraft or a single Python command that I can easily run. Okay. Now, for your video, and I know I'm going into like super details about the project, but I want you to know what you're getting into before you choose the project, right? All this is important. For your final project, you must submit a video presentation uploaded to YouTube. This video must be between 15 and 20 minutes long, no exceptions. If it's 14:59, you're going to lose marks, okay? Like, don't have a 13-minute video. Don't have a 9-minute video. This is very important. Please, very important. Please take care with this video. It is worth a lot of marks. Please do not try to make the entire video in one take. You are encouraged to edit together multiple recordings, okay? This video is worth 50% of your mark. So just think about it this way. If you try and record this whole video from start to finish, would you have tried to program the whole thing from start to finish without going back and editing some things? No, you wouldn't. The video is worth just as much as the code. So please, I'm not like video shaming anyone, but I've asked for videos in the past and people are like, there's people like eating in the background. There's like plates and stuff clanging, and like you make a mistake and then you say oops and then you do the last 2 minutes again. Don't do that. There shouldn't be mistakes in the video when you can edit it, right? That's why we're not having live things, is so that you can show me something really good. So please spend some time on that. It's not like, oh, there's an hour left. Let's take what we have and make a video about it. The video should take you a significant amount of time, I think. The video should include the following sections and must contain a voiceover explanation of all the information that you see here. Each group member should ideally do an equal amount of speaking. Now, just before I get into this, let me talk to you a little bit about video editing. If you have fancy video editing software, great, okay? That is awesome, but you do not need to have fancy video editing software, okay? And I'll show you how you don't need to have fancy video editing software. Let me very quickly show you that with an example from this course. Okay. Okay. Here is how you make a really good looking video using non-fancy video editing software. All you need to have in terms of video editing software is something that can trim video and put it together. There are tons of free tools out there for that. But just watch this. Look at how cool this video is. Let's switch over to this slide, okay? Watch this. Here I have video on the screen with titles over it. And now I have a transition from this video to this video. And now a transition from this video to this video. And I'm doing voiceover work, right? And I'm doing all this in real time. And you know how you do that? PowerPoint. It's crazy. PowerPoint is so crazy good, and I don't know why more people don't use it for video editing. All you have to do is make a slide with a video clip as the background that automatically plays, and then just hit forward to go to the next video while you're talking over it. So what I recommend in order to make a really cool looking video, you don't need Sony Vegas or Adobe Premiere or anything like that to do these titles or whatever. Just do it in PowerPoint. It's great. You might like laugh at that, but it's surprisingly good, and you all know how to use PowerPoint. So for each video slide that you want to record, just put the video clip as the background. That's it. It's crazy good for video editing. So you can have a video where a lot of your explanation, it should basically be a recording of a PowerPoint presentation. Like, that's what it should be. And if you make mistakes, don't leave the mistakes in, just go back and re-record it. Okay? It's surprisingly easy to do a good video using PowerPoint. Not only that, but let's say you want to have like one video up here and one video down there. It's so easy to do that using PowerPoint, and it's so hard to do that using other video editing software. All you need to do is the final screen recording is you need to stitch that together somehow in some video editing software. So please do not be intimidated to do that. Now, when I say PowerPoint, there's other software out there. There's other software for Mac. There's other software for Windows. It's just that I use PowerPoint because it's really good. All right, so do that however you want, but please don't be intimidated by that part. It's just maybe another thing that you have to learn a little bit of. But it shouldn't take more than a day to get you doing that. Okay. So the video has to have the following sections. First, the introduction. A brief introduction to what the project is about. Pretend like I don't know what you're doing for the project. Explain the project. Take like a minute or two to explain what StarCraft is, what the Minecraft competition is, right? Explain that. Give me motivation for why this is happening. What each group member worked on. I want to know what each group member worked on very specifically because I want to give credit where credit is due. The problem description. A high-level overview of the problem you're trying to solve or the goal that you're trying to reach, and a list of all the sub-problems that you may had to solve in order to accomplish your goal. For example, if you're building a Starcraft bot, you may have had to scout using a worker to find the building, or to find the enemy, or to find building locations, etc. Like, there's a lot of sub-problems that you come along in order to build a StarCraft bot. Similarly, in Minecraft, like, how did you make the houses? How did you make the paths? How did you incorporate the terrain? All that kind of stuff. Methodology. So an overview of the algorithms or methods that you use to solve the problems. Why you chose those methods, citing the properties of the environment, and why you believed that algorithm was the best choice for the problem, right? We talked about this a lot in the course, like how the environment affects the algorithm choice, and we talked about that in 3200 as well. Show the pseudocode for your methods and give an English description of what it does. So you know how I explain algorithms in the class? I want you to do that back to me with what you did. So give me some pseudocode and tell me what that algorithm does and why you used it. Show where in your submitted code the actual algorithm is implemented. So for example, this is especially important if you end up doing a modification of UAlbertaBot, because there's 20,000 lines of code inside that bot, and I need to know exactly where your code is. Give me a list of things that you may have tried but didn't end up working in time, and how did you tackle, for Minecraft specifically, each of the categories, so like the aesthetics, the functionality, the narrative, how did you specifically tackle each of those problems? And then the results and discussion. So for StarCraft, show me some clips of the more intelligent behavior of your bot. Show me, like, highlight footage of it playing a bunch of different games. Be sure to highlight the aspect of the game that you decided to specialize in. So if you wrote UAlbertaBot to use High Templars, there better be a couple of minutes of footage of how they were built, how they move around the map, how they're positioned, how they cast the spells, etc. How did your agent perform against the built-in AI? So if you're doing StarCraft, I want you to play 1,000 games, which you can do automatically, and I'll get into all that sort of things later, against a random CPU opponent and record the win-loss ratio against each race on each map and show me some results from how strong your bot was. And then discuss some observed strong points or weak points of your bot and how might you fix those issues if you had infinite time. For Minecraft, show examples of the generated settlements in at least 3 randomly generated areas. Walk or fly around those settlements, showing off the cool parts of those settlements, right? The Minecraft project is so incredibly visual. You better have good visuals in your video. Be sure to highlight the aspect of the PCG that you decided to specialize in. So for example, if you decided to do like shortest path or minimum spanning tree type path generation, show me a section of the video where you talk very specifically about that. Describe how you feel your project did in each of the categories, and how did you arrive at the final version of your code. Describe any evaluation that you performed to determine whether one solution that you thought of was better than another. This is still a computer science course, right? We're doing some science here. So tell me how you came to these conclusions. And then a quick conclusion, a brief summary of what you did, whether or not you believe you were successful, and what would you do in the future to make improvements if you had more time. Okay, so that is the main video. That video alone is worth 20% of your year, so please put some effort into it. And then you're going to have the YouTube trailer, and the YouTube trailer can be really fun and crazy and like have weird music in it or whatever. This is kind of the hype trailer for your project. So take footage take like the ultra condensed, super cool footage from your video presentation and make a trailer out of that. Okie dokie. Now, assignments as project milestones. Please, any questions that you have, I know there's a lot of information here, but you know, I like to be thorough. Any questions, type them in the chat. I'm seeing some stuff that's unrelated that I'm not going to answer. Someone says, I use GitLab. Does it matter? Should I use GitHub? Please use GitHub. Use GitLab for all your development, but then put it on GitHub because I'm not signing up for another website. You don't need to use GitHub. You can just submit it as a zip file if you want, right? So if you're using GitLab, just use GitLab and then submit it as a zip file. That's not an issue. Okay. Assignments as project milestones. So this was kind of the change to the course that I said before. So here is the explanation of assignment 4, if you will. And I'll be sure to highlight this in the timeline of the video. So in order to give you as much time as possible to work on your assignment, assignments 4 and 5 in the course will be project-related milestones, which will help keep you on track to meet the project deadline. So if we go back here and we look, so the assignment 3, the procedural generated universe, that's due in 2 days from now, Thursday night, okay? From Thursday night, you will have 12 days. So exactly 2 weeks from now is when assignment 4 is due. And I want to accelerate that timeline a little bit to give you more time to actually work on the project. So 2 weeks from now is when assignment 4 is due. However, this is like a day or two of work. So you have a lot more time than you need for assignment 4. So assignment 4 will be a project milestone to install the project APIs and get everything up and running with some very simple sample code. Okay? So for the StarCraft projects, so between now and, you know, a few days from now, I want you to decide on a project with a partner and get all that sorted out. Because assignment 4's deadline is when you have to have all of that stuff decided on and finished. So for the StarCraft projects, assignment 4, you have to do the following steps. You have to install StarCraft, BW API, and compile and run the StarterBot from the UAlbertaBot project. And I'm going to do all of this. So, okay, everything that you have to do for assignment 4, I'm going to go over all of this in the next lecture. How to do this. I'm going to literally step through it. So I guess this is not the assignment 4 class. Next class will be the assignment 4 class. But I want to give you a head start on this. So first you have to install all the StarCraft related stuff. Using the example bot in the StarterBot, you have to construct the 8 probes using the Protoss race. Once the probes have been constructed, you have to tell them to stop gathering minerals and then give them move commands so that they're positioned in a straight line near your nexus. You must also print the names of your group members to the screen using draw text screen. You have to take a screenshot of the final result of the StarCraft screen. And then you have to submit your code along with the screenshot. All right. And then for Minecraft, what you have to do is you have to install one of the 2 GDMC API options on the following page, which I'll talk about in a bit. And then you must use the sample code to place blocks in the Minecraft world, which spell out CS4303 in block letters, somewhere that's visible around the x equals 0, z equals 0 position. You take a screenshot of that, you submit your code on D2L, and that's assignment 4. So basically, assignment 4 is going to be due 2 weeks from now, and it's, in order to submit assignment 4, you basically have to choose your project, choose your partner, install the required software, and do a very basic demo of proving to me that you've installed the software. And what this does is it gets all the software up and running on your system a month before it's due, so that you have absolutely no excuse for doing this, for waiting until the last minute. I got a couple of questions here. Will there be a little poll or similar asking people looking for a group buddy? Sure, I can do that again. I will post the spreadsheet where you guys can put your names and ask for a partner. My partner and I may end up picking different projects. Can I do the project alone in this case? Well, you can't do 2 different projects with a partner, right? So I'm not going to stop you from doing a project alone, but it will be an incredible amount of work. I don't recommend it, okay? And this is worth a lot of marks. You basically have to pass the project to pass the course, okay? So with the assignments and the project, that's worth like around 60 to 70% of the course. Like it's worth a lot. So the project is big. Oops, I forgot to disable my alerts window. Sorry about that. So please don't do the project alone if possible. I will post I'll post a screenshot back on D2L and on Discord for those of you who are doing that. For those of you who are looking for a partner, sorry. Now, in this document, I have the instructions for how to set up everything. So for StarCraft, I have instructions that are very, very well documented. If you go to these links, and I'll give out this later today. If you go to these links, you will find this is the wiki for the StarterBot GitHub project, and the installation instructions are several pages long and are very, very easy to follow, and I am 150% sure that they work. I know 100%, I know that they work. So you can go through these and set it up really easily, and next class, I will be walking through this in very great detail, installing everything as we go, so you have a video guide on how to set this up for assignment 4. Okay? So I'm not going into this right now, but what I will show you is what the final project or final product will look like. So the final product of this is that you will have this StarterBot project set up, okay? And what you can do is you can run the StarterBot project just like our assignments. It's all done in Visual Studio. So we're running this, and the way the StarCraft stuff works is that you produce an executable that runs in the background, okay? So this right here, this window that you see is my bot running in the background. And what it's doing is it's waiting for StarCraft to start. So the way we start StarCraft, and I'll get into all of this in the next class, is we use this program called Chaos Launcher, which actually allows us to do the DLL injection and everything that's required. But essentially, I just start StarCraft. Now you can see over here that my bot has connected, and now my bot is playing StarCraft. Okay, so my sound is up way too high, but this is the sample starter bot, which does things like it draws some boxes, it mines some minerals, it builds a couple of pylons, okay? And I can do things like, let's look at the map, and I can look at various areas of the map, etc. So this essentially will be what you have set up once you're done with assignment 4. Okay, is that bot that lets you play StarCraft. It's a really cool, it's really easy to use. I think it's going to be a really fun project. Okay, for Minecraft, at the end of the Minecraft setup, what you're going to have is something like the following. Let me just show you this. So here I have on another monitor, I have Minecraft being run. So the Minecraft setup is incredibly easy if you use the HTTP method, the HTTP server. So here you have Minecraft. What you do, so keep in mind, I forgot to mention this. If you're choosing Minecraft, I'm 99% sure that you have to buy the retail version of Minecraft, okay? I cannot give you a version, and I don't have funds to give you a version. So think of that as your textbook for the course. Minecraft is currently $35. So you're going to have to buy Minecraft if you want to do that project. If you want to do StarCraft, you do not have to buy StarCraft. That's an exception. So what you do for Minecraft, super simple. You install Minecraft, like the current retail version of Minecraft. You install this Forge mod, and then you click play. And installing the Forge mod is just literally like double-clicking a jar. So here we go. Now we're playing Minecraft. I'm waiting for it to start. Yes, Java, not Bedrock. Has to be the Java version. Minecraft is currently starting. It takes a little bit longer to start when it's using this Forge mod, so just give it a second. Okay. So now I have Minecraft up and running. It's literally like 1.16.4, the most modern version. I'm going to click single player, create new world. I recommend creative mode so that you can fly around and stuff. So allow cheats on. Let's just create a new world. This is all happening in real time. This is not pre-recorded. You need to like drag and install 2 files to get this set up. It's actually way easier to set it up than it is to set up StarCraft. Okay, so here we are in the world. I'm going to fly. Now, in my code, the code sample that I'm about to run, what happens is that you specify a chunk of the world with coordinates that you want to work on. So for example, like each block in the game has a coordinate you can look at with F3. So this block right here, over on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see targeted block equals -43, 69, -105, okay? So what I'm going to do is my code right now starts at 0, 0, 0, or not 0, 0, 0, but it starts at 0, 0. So I'm going to teleport 0, 100, 0. So this is where we just happen to get a funny example where the origin is on the water. So all you have to do is download their sample code. Here is a like modern Python 3.17, okay? And if I run their example code, you run it, and here's what happens in the game. Oops, 1 second. So in real time, your algorithm is generating this area. So what the code does is it says, I want to build within an area of 128 by 128 around the origin. And then the sample code that they provide places, I think, 20 or 25 random houses within that area. And you can see how that was done, like, actually in real time. Let me quickly edit something here. Okay, and I want to run this again, and the sample code will again place more houses. Okay, so you can see this happening in real time. Okay, so I'm not getting into the whole installation process of this. Some person said out there that they need to use like 1.12 in order to submit this. Anything you think you know about GDMC, throw that out for a bit. Prior to this year, the only way that you were allowed to submit GDMC competition agents was to use MC Edit and like an old version of Minecraft. Okay? I believe they are going to accept this way of doing things this year. And this way of doing things, you do not need MC Edit, which is a brutal piece of software to set up. You do not need old versions of Minecraft. You do not need to install Anaconda. You can just run a Python program. We are going to be going over all of the setup for how to install Starcraft, Brood War, BW API, Minecraft, the GDMC stuff. We're doing all of that in the next class. Okay, so don't worry if you feel intimidated by this or you're not done assignment 3 yet. That's fine. All of this will be done in the next class. But yeah, I talked to Trent Hancock. So if you didn't know, the last time I offered this course, I also offered the Minecraft project. And one of the groups from the course submitted their bot to the competition, the actual GDMC competition. And they won. They won the international GDMC. Like crazy. So the only group from our class who actually submitted their bot ended up winning this international AI competition. Awesome. And I spoke to one of the group members, Trent, and I showed him. So when they did it, they also used like the old way, MC Edit, Minecraft 1.12, and all that kind of stuff. And he said this way of doing it would be much easier. So I highly recommend this way of doing it, and we'll get into all the nitty-gritty details of that during the next class. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that real quick and show you like how easy it is to set up this stuff and use it. So let's go back here. Okay, so on the last sheet of this document, which I will send out, it sends out all the links for this, how to set it all up. But as I said before, we are going to be going over in detail and showing you how to install all that stuff on Thursday's class. Okay, is it possible to spawn mobs? I'm not sure, probably. I would have to talk to that person. Oh, and the great thing is that this real-time version, so I said that's the HTTP server. I'm not going to get into any of the details about this right now. But what I will say is that the person who's maintaining this is very active on Discord. And so if we have feature requests, they may be able to implement them. Okay, so it's really cool that is like being done right now. And what I would actually love to be able to do is at the very end of the course, I want to show off in one video all of the Minecraft settlement stuff. And I want to show off in one video all of the StarCraft stuff. So I'm going to record a lecture at the very end where I show off as many of the top performing projects as I can. If everyone works in groups of 2, then we're probably going to have about 30 projects in the course, so it's not possible to show all of them off. But we'll mark them, we'll grade them, and then we'll do some cool stuff. I highly recommend doing the bot from scratch, because what I want to do is every bot that's written from scratch, I want to actually have a competition at the end of the class where we have all of the bots compete in like a round robin tournament. So we actually run a StarCraft AI competition for all of the bots that were written in the course. And I think that would be really cool. And I'll stream that as well. Okay, so that is the project specification. And so just to let you know now, but we will be going over the details about this next class. Assignment 4, you should have decided on your project. You should have decided on your partner. You should have installed all of the stuff to get your project up and running. And that's all due in 2 weeks. Okay. So I want to get you, this is getting your butts in gear so that you don't wait for the last minute for the project. I think that's enough. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about in this class? So yeah, next time I'll go over, so let's say assignment for project setup. That's going to be next class. So that was project information today. And the intro, this is assignment for and project setup. Perfect. So we'll do all of that in the next class. And then what we'll do is in a future class, I'll go over a bunch of StarCraft AI related stuff. And of course, we'll have lectures on other game AI related topics as well. But I want to front load you with all of the project information so that you can get started on that stuff as soon as possible. Okay. I'll wait around for one more minute. If there are any questions, please ask them in the chat. And I will see, okay, there weren't any questions on the Discord. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording here, and I'll see you on Thursday. Someone keeps asking about a final. There was never a final in this course, unless I'm mistaken. Did I ever say that there was a final exam in this course? It's just a project. There's no final exam. Don't worry about that. Let me just check. 4303. Here's the syllabus. So if you're in the course, I highly recommend if you actually, where is it? Evaluation, assignments, and project. There is no final exam. Oh, and also, you have to pass the final project to pass the course, of course. Will there be a final exam on self-service 4303? Okay, thank you for telling me that. I will email the department and that will be removed. So, remove final from self-service. There is no final in this course. So I apologize if you thought that there was. There isn't, and that was a mistake. So I'll get them to fix that mistake. Cool. All right. See you on Thursday, next class, when we will be going over all of the installation instructions for assignment 4.